Welcome back to the Halloween Tea Party, guys, where I'm attempting to do 31 tutorials for the 31 days of October. Today's look is a kind of melty skull face. Enjoy! I'm starting out with an orange colour corrector to correct my under eye bags, and I'm applying that with my finger and just blending it out slightly. I'm using a light coverage foundation for this look, so I don't want any of the colour correction to show through. Then I'm applying my foundation, and I'm using a shade that matches my skin tone. But if you want to make this look a bit more skeleton-y, then you could go a couple of shades lighter than your natural skin tone. But seeing as the bottom half is painted white, we still want the top half to look like skin, so don't go too light with it. I'm only applying the foundation to the top half of my face because there's going to be white face paint on the bottom half, so it makes no sense to apply foundation there. Then I'm setting my foundation with a matching face powder. For the eyes, I'm going for quite a dark look. So I'm taking a black liner or cream base, I'm never quite sure what this actually is. And I'm applying that all over the lid. And then I'm taking a blending brush and I'm blending it out. Otherwise I find you can see that harsh line once you apply shadow and start to blend it out. So I'm blending it into kind of the shape that the final eye look is going to be. Then I'm going in with a black matte shadow and I'm applying that all over the lid, and it looks super nice and opaque. And I'm bringing it a bit further out than where I've applied all of that base. The base is super sticky, so it's really hard to blend anything that's on top of that base. So that's why you need to bring it a little bit further out. Then I'm going in with a blending brush and blending everything really well. I'm using that same black shadow on my lower lash line as well and blending it out. And things got a little bit messy because I'm trying to avoid using that tape technique. I'm trying to just get my technique down. So I'm going in with a bit of concealer on a small brush and just cleaning things up a bit. And make sure to blend it out as well so that you don't end up with this weird bright streak underneath your dark eye. For my brows, I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm pretty sure I say that in all of my videos. But I'm just using a charcoal eyebrow pencil just to fill out my brows a little bit so that they don't look quite so patchy. I'm taking a volumizing mascara and applying that to my top and bottom lashes. Then I'm taking a Kohl liner and lining my waterline and tightlining my eyes. Just make all of your eyes black. For the drips, I'm taking that grey eyebrow pencil and just mapping out all of the drips. I like to map things out with an eyebrow pencil before I go in with face paint because it's just much easier to clean up any mistakes you make and redo them with an eyebrow pencil compared to trying to do that with face paint. I'm taking a detail brush and some white body paint and going back along that line that I just drew with the eyebrow pencil. And that's going to give me a nice crisp line for where the skin color is meeting the skull color. To fill in the rest, I'm switching over to an eyeshadow packing brush and just painting everything below that line white. For the lips, if you have a white liquid to matte lipstick, then you could use that on your lips because it's just going to last much longer because it sets. But if not, hey, you know, just go in with the paint. It'll be fine. Then I'm doing a bit more mapping out and I'm using a black eyeshadow and a really small detail brush for this. And I'm not drawing out all of the teeth, I'm just drawing dots where the edges of the teeth are going to be so that I can get a nice idea that I have things nicely spaced and proportioned. I'm also drawing in the contour lines, you know, the jawbone, cheekbone thing. Then I'm taking a black body paint and a detail brush to re-outline all of that stuff. So I'm outlining the teeth, but I'm doing the full teeth now with this paint. And teeth aren't completely square as they go up into your gums, they're more pointed. So I'm making sure to have that kind of pointy shape to them. And I always like to leave a line between the parting of my lips so that when I open my mouth, you can see the ends of the teeth. It looks a bit more natural. For the bottoms of the teeth as well, each tooth is kind of curved on either side. It's not just a totally straight line, so I'm adding in that little detail as well. For the contour type area, I'm using the detail brush just to go over the lines that I've drawn. And then I'm switching over to an eyeshadow packing brush and filling it all in black. If you find that your white and your black are mixing together, then you could go in with some makeup remover on a cotton pad or a cotton bud and just clean off that paint and put down a layer of black. To make the teeth look a bit more realistic, I'm going in with some black eyeshadow and that detail brush, and I'm just adding shading between all of the teeth. I'm making the shading most intense where the two teeth meet and along the lines of where the teeth would be inside the gums, and then letting it just kind of trail off as it goes further out. And I'm blending all of that so it doesn't look like too harsh a line, it looks more like a shadow. Now that the skull part and the skin part are done, we need to add a bit of dimension to those actual drips so they look more like they're 3D. I'm starting out with a black eyeshadow and a really small brush, and I'm working on the skull portion of the face, and I'm adding shadows to each drip. When you add shadows to things, you kind of need to pick where your light source is coming from. So you have an imaginary light source, and then you think, where would the shadows fall if the light was hitting me this way? So my light source is above and in front of me. So at the top part of each drip, there would be a shadow there, and at the bottom part of each drip, and on the side of the drip that would be closest to the front of my face. So I'm starting out by just adding a black line where I want the shadow to be, and then I'm blending that line out slightly. And you want the shadow to be most intense where it's touching the drip. Now we need to add some shadows and highlights to the skin portion of the look. For the shadows, I'm using a cool toned brown eyeshadow, and this is the kind of shade I would use for a contour. And if you imagine that the drips are kind of rounded, then the shaded part would be against the shadow that you've put down on the skull part. It would be on that side of the drip. So I'm really lightly applying the shadow and then blending it out. And then if I want to make it more intense, I'm applying some more shadow and blending that out. With things like this, it's much better to kind of start small and build up, rather than putting down too much shadow and then trying to correct it and, you know, de-intensify it. De-intensify it? Is that a word? Once the shadows are down, I'm going in with a highlight, and I'm using a straight up white eyeshadow for this, but you should use something that you would use for a highlight, but just not something shimmery. On darker skin tones, using a straight up white might be too intense. I'm using a damp detail brush to apply the highlights because otherwise they just really aren't showing up enough. And basically my highlights are going pretty much in the opposite place to where the shadows are going, so on the opposite sides of the drips and curling around the tops and the bottoms a little bit. So that's it guys, you are now a melty skull face thing. There'll be another video going live tomorrow, so if you want to be notified when that's up, you can subscribe to my channel. If you like this look and this video, you can let me know by hitting the like button. And if you have any comments or questions or anything, let me know in the comments section and I'll do my best to reply to you. If you decide to recreate this look, I would love to see how it comes out. If you post it to social media, you can tag me in the post and use the hashtag Halloween Tea Party, and then I will see it. I'm also having a little competition over on my Instagram, so if you want to be in with the chance of winning some goodies, all of the details for that are over on my Instagram, and I will leave links and stuff in the description box along with all of the products used. If this look isn't quite your style, then here are some alternative looks that might be a bit more your thing. I hope you all have an amazing Halloween guys, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.